Well, Joe's birthday is coming up, and that seems to be a launch pad for a lot of things.
Oh!
Don't start with me.
The move that you made up here.
Yo, he said it first.
Of course, you're gonna say it first. That's how it usually goes. First and second. Right, Queen? That's how it usually goes. First and second. Pass along.
Yo, I'm third.
Melyssa Ford confirms an affair with Emanny. Yeah, over the last few weeks of the Joe Budden Podcast, there have been little tidbits and tea leaves about what may have happened with Emanny on that fateful night that Joe Budden celebrated his birthday. So for those of you that don't know, over the last year, there's been this theory that Emanny and Melyssa Ford have hooked up. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, why does that matter? Well, I think it matters because it represents certain dynamics of the cast. When Ish and Melyssa Ford first started getting into it, one couldn't help but notice just how much Melyssa Ford seemed to cater to the narrative of her and Ish. It was as if she enjoyed it, as if she took great joy in seeming attached to Ish. Yes, it was a Joe Budden narrative, but I think it was reaffirmed by Melyssa Ford's actions. Hell, even on the show, she seemed to seek constant approval from Ish, looking for his thoughts on things when nobody else was asking. Well, I think what happened is Ish, he probably wasn't digging Melyssa Ford. And when the whole thing about him being a woman-hating Kevin Samuels wannabe started happening, and he felt like Melyssa Ford was feeding that, he distanced himself from her. But later on, the arrival of Emanny would present another opportunity for another man for Melyssa Ford to sink her claws in. Well, over time, the cast would make several allusions to how Melyssa Ford and Emanny were getting close, more so than a co-worker dynamic. Still, it was hard to believe that one of the greatest video vixens of all time would even entertain Joe Budden's sidekick or whatever people perceive him as. He came into the show and people just regarded him as the broke friend. I mean, he portrayed that narrative too. It wasn't just like it was, the fans were doing it. He was a willing participant in that storyline. Well, fast forward till down the line where Joe would have his birthday party and there would be this storyline that Flip would introduce.
And she was cool. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
We don't give a about that girls.
This is about to go. I want that Michael Jackson doing.
Listen, Bin Laden, shut the f*** up.
This nigga's a different nigga.
Started.
I'm just trying to understand what
It's okay. It was one for the book.
Stop.
And it looks like it wasn't a storyline. It looks like it actually happened. So the fable goes as so. Emanny showed up to Joe Budden's party with a young woman, and that young woman bigged up Melyssa Ford. That woman was like, hey, Melyssa Ford, how you doing? I'm such a fan. But as the night went on, Emanny and Melyssa Ford would cozy up, and then Emanny and Melyssa Ford would leave together. Now, this story is interesting because if you understand it, you will get how it plays out into the podcast. And in the two clips I played at the beginning of this video, the first being Flip joking about how Ish goes first and Emanny goes second, that is obviously in regards to Melyssa Ford. Like Ish went and then Emanny went. Melyssa Ford liked being with Ish, or this idea that, she was with Ish, and then Emanny actually was the guy to get the job done. Then there was a little playful soundbite where Melyssa Ford actually acknowledges what may have happened that night in Jersey at Joe Budden's birthday party. She is actually playing into it. So I think that means that it actually happened. There are certain storylines that happen on the Joe Budden podcast that are fake. They're not real. But I think this one is not content over everything. I think this actually happened. Because if you see the behind the scenes interactions between Emanny and Melyssa Ford, it reveals a little bit more of a dynamic.
Can you text me what the menu is?
A whole voice change. You hear this?
Just want to send what you want.
Yeah, the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that it's written, though. Thank you.
Then there was the rumors of them being out and about outside of the show, with someone on Reddit saying that he saw them together in like some cafe in Manhattan. Now, it's important to be clear, Emanny has steadfastly denied this, but Emanny doesn't strike me as the guy who tells the truth when asked. He kind of lies. And in this situation, he might very well be justified in lying. And I'm not taking what he said for face value. Melyssa Ford is playing into it, and I think she wants everyone to know. And I think the show doesn't care if everyone knows, because it's a valid storyline and it's been so hard to ignore. Then there was that whole time on the podcast where Joe Budden playfully goes back and forth with Flip, telling him that he secretly wants to be Emanny. Now, he gives a lot of reasons about why he would want to be Emanny. Emanny has a single bachelor lifestyle, but he stops just short of saying one particular thing, saying that, oh, if we was a real podcast, we would really get to go there. What do we think that get to go there is? Well, everyone knows there's a narrative that Flip is obsessed with Melyssa Ford. And it's not really a narrative. I think Flip grew up watching Melyssa Ford in his favorite videos, and he acts that way on the show. He's seeing a superstar right before his eyes. That's not Milfy. That's Big M4. And Joe is saying, you want to be like Emanny, because Emanny actually got his go with Melyssa Ford. But let me know what you think. Did it really happen? Is this one big reach? I don't think it is. I think it went down, not to the extent of what happened. I don't know if there's, if it was like some secret, Pound Town situation. I don't know what it was. It could just be a really close work friendship that plays out a certain way. Maybe they just really cool, but there is something more than a co-worker bond, and we will have to see the implications for the show, because Emanny might have overstepped by making things unprofessional, and that might be on the back of Joe's mind. Remember, Joe has often kind of hinted at Emanny being a liability to the show. First, there was when he had those two ladies up on his podcast who would later go on to accuse Joe Budden of harassment. He's the one that advocated for them to be on the show. Then there was the situation with Back Woody, where he would punch Back Woody, and it wasn't necessarily a good look for the show. Then there might be this situation. Joe knows how volatile it might be that Emanny and Melyssa Ford are in cahoots, possibly under the sheets. But only time will tell if this story is real, but I think it is. Now, I wanted to end this video by commentating on this Patreon that dropped today. They had two women on it, Ashley and Ashley. And I must say, there was one Ashley too many. One of the Ashleys was super annoying. The one in the pink. The other one is fine. She's really good. I'm cool with her. But please never bring that other Ashley back again. I want a restraining order put on her from the studio. We don't need her around. Melyssa Ford and Ash is fine enough. I'm not feeling it. Stop it. She was just echoing the other Ashley's talking points, but wasn't able to add her own thoughts. And it becomes a little bit too much. I want a $1 million. I want a football player. I don't need all that, bro. The every man listens to this podcast. It's okay if a couple women kind of espouse the ideas of you got to get money to be with me. But when it's three, that is one too many. All right. Find somebody else besides that Ash. The Ash and Ash podcast can do what they want. I never want to listen to them again together. I heard they signed some big deal that they didn't even really disclose what the big deal was. It was like a rumored 6-figure deal. Like, I don't even know what that means. One day we got to talk about these podcasters saying they signing multi-figure deals, but you don't even know the stipulations of the deal. I'm telling y'all, that's a manipulation tactic these people are using to gatekeep. And I'm the only person waking that up. But one day we'll do the science and we'll really get to it. And we'll see who's making some horrible decisions. All right. Finally, shout out to Melyssa Ford, man. She's doing a good job with this Ash on this episode. I think she's really playing well off her. Let's see if she could handle it long term. We all know Melyssa Ford likes to bogart the mic as the woman voice. And I think over time, we will see that play out. I don't think she likes this at all, guys. I don't think she likes this one bit, but we will see. Now, let me know what you think about today's Patreon on the Joe Budden Podcast. I enjoyed it. I just didn't like Ash, the one in the pink. I felt like we could have gone without her, but we will see. Also, let me know if you believe the Melyssa Ford Emanny theory, but I don't even think that's a theory anymore. I think if it's a theory, it's groove theory. Tell me if you want me to, if you catch my drift. All right, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Tap in with my Patreon. I got some stuff going there real soon. And it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a good thing to watch. I think we're doing a lot of great things here at The Stop. We're about to hit 30,000 subs, which is crazy. I know one of the shots people shoot at me is that I haven't grown in subs. But when you look at certain channels that have 200,000 subs, and they can't garner viewership or they can't get an audience to have a community with them, what we've done has truly been amazing. We're about to enter 4 years in October. That is crazy to me. The amount of things that we've been able to do impacting the podcast we listen to. A lot of people are mad. A lot of people are happy. And I'm happy that all of you have allowed me to build a community and also comment. Now, it's come at a really fun time, and I'm excited to continue to build with you. But when we get to 30,000 subs, best believe I'm going to celebrate. With that said, this is Danny from The Stop. I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day.